So we have stairs here, steps basically. So we have steps of width 20 centimeters. They're 20 centimeters wide and height 20 centimeters. So meaning this is 20 centimeters. This is 20 centimeters. And we have a ball here rolling with speed u. Rolls over. So the question is, find minimum speed required to fall on the fourth step. How do you define the steps? Let this be first step. This is the second step. This is the third. Sorry. This is the fourth. The ball right from here should come and fall on this thing. Got it? So the question is, find the minimum speed so that the ball falls on the fourth step. You must have seen something like this thing. Normally the ball falls off the the floor and it starts jumping on the staircase. So directly if it falls on the fourth step, what is the minimum speed required? So each step ka width is 20 centimeters, height is 20 centimeters. Any doubt in the question, please ask me if the question is not clear. Question is clear, you got 2 minutes. Think about it. Anyone didn't understand what is happening in the question, please ask me. Nemi, question is clear? Priyansh? Princey? Sure, carry on. Think about it, I'll give you 2 minutes. It's not about getting the answer. I want you to spend time on thinking and figuring out what is happening. Unlike other subjects, where if you do a lot of practice, you'll get marks. Physics is not like that. You need a moderate level practice, but you need to be able to figure out, okay, this is the main thing that is happening. Show you. First thing you need to understand here, when the ball is falling, see, everyone thinks about the fourth step. Actually, the answer is in the third step. The third step is a crucial one. While it is falling, when it just misses the fourth step, third step, it will fall in the fourth step, no? You're getting it. See, now if you throw with a little more speed, you can go and fall like this also. But the problem, this won't be minimum speed. Are you getting my point? Because you're asking for a minimum speed, mean you're just about to fall on the fourth step. So when you just miss the third step ka edge, then you'll fall on the fourth step. So this thing also tells you something. Means no matter whatever is the speed, you cannot fall here. So movies where they show na, there's a big avalanche, the hero runs from the avalanche. So this is the place where you want to hide. The ice will simply just fall from the top. So using projectile motion, you can save your life during avalanche. Meaning, itna calculation nahi kar payenge, but just go and stick to that mountain or wall or whatever it is. That's the safest place. So here the statement would be, for U minimum, the ball grazes the edge of the third step, sorry. So when you just miss the third step, you're going to go and fall on the fourth step. So this thing gives you, then what is this height? Make a separate diagram. Getting it? This height will be 60 centimeters now. And this depth, this will be 60 centimeters. 3 steps basically. So basically the ball is falling a height of 60 centimeters and traveling a distance of 60 centimeters. Hope this was clear. Have a look at this. Ask me if you're any confused here. I'll show you the working on the next page. So basically, what the problem became? Someone threw a stone from a building of height 60 centimeters, range is 60 centimeters. Find you. So if you see, you have seen this kind of questions, bomb from an aeroplane, particle thrown from a building. So all these are same questions, only by, the story we create, right? Aeroplane, steps, particle. So you need to get that thing. How to convert that into something which you know. So there is a story. You need to see actually what it means and then you solve. So in this thing, the main story is this. If you miss the third step, you'll fall in the fourth step. So fourth step actually is not there in the picture. This was copied? No. So the question became as good as you have a building, height 60 centimeters. Remember, don't write 60, you have to convert into meters. You might get, so why are you doing that? Why can't I use centimeter? Okay, no problem. Use centimeter, but then write G also into centimeter. Na? G is 10 meter per second square. Then you have to convert G also into centimeter per second square. So this is also 0.6 meters. Now I know Sy is Uy t plus half Ay t square. Standard equations. If you see the 3 equations are the standard, we are not creating any new equations. The displacement is minus 0.6 because you're going down. Uy is 0. Half Ay, that is g t squared. So we get the time will be 1.2 by g ka root. That is root 12 by 100, which is root 12 by 10. That is your time. What is range? Sx is uxt plus half axt squared. So the range Sx is 0.6, Ux is U, time is root 12 by 10, Ax is 0, so it won't matter. So from here you get U is 6 by root 12. What is root 12? 2 into root 3. 3 by root 3. Root 3 meters per second. So if the ball goes with the speed of root 3 meters per second, it is going to fall on the fourth step. That is the minimum speed. Have a look at the calculation. See, if I had given you this problem, you could have done, right? It is thrown from a building of height 0.6 meters, range is 0.6 meters, find speed u. Now for these kind of problems, you can remember this direct formula actually, time of flight, root 2h by g. When is this valid? When uy is 0. If you're projecting it horizontally, you can use this formula directly instead of doing all that. But only when you're throwing horizontally. Yeah? If you throw up or down, so you can't use this. Have a look at this. Hope the steps are clear. Any doubt on this thing? Ask me.
So can you go back to the previous slide for 1 second?
So, sir, if it was maximum, if we had to find maximum, we had to.
Maximum, so you will take this thing. The fourth step ka edge.
No.
Means then you're asking minimum speed for the fifth step, na?
Yeah.
That one. Maximum will be you hit the edge of the fifth step. Then the height will be 80 centimeters and this will be 80 centimeters. Done. Next one. I can turn the page. Simran, copied.
So just 1 second.
Okay.
So done.
Now, so we have a cricket stadium. We have steps here. So we have steps. Wide 1 meter and height 1 meter. So each step ka height is 1 meter, width is 1 meter. So this is where the batsman hit the ball. This is 120 meters. So he is hitting with a speed of 60 meters per second at an angle of 45 degrees. The ball will go and fall on some step. Na? Find the step on which the ball falls. So in a cricket stadium, from the batsman, the boundary is 120 meters. From there, the steps have started. Each step ka height is 1 meter, the width is 1 meter. So the question is, if the batsman hits the ball with 60 meters per second at 45 degrees, on which step will the ball fall? This is something which you normally see in a match. You know, the ball, when you hit a six, it goes and falls in the audience. It hits a certain height. Hope the question was clear. Now, if you see, right, we are taking day-to-day life situations. We see these things every time. Anyone who didn't understand what is happening with the question, please ask me. Question is clear? Please go ahead. I'll give you 2 to 3 minutes. Think about it. See, the time you got is to think. So think about it. After today's class, today evening or tomorrow morning, make sure to take 1 hour from your schedule. There are 26 questions we are going to do total. So each and every question, take a rough paper and try to solve without seeing the solution. Getting it? This is something which I tell you every class. I'm repeating again. It is important you solve whatever is done in the class again without seeing once. If you do that once, the problem will stay with you for a long time. Because when I'm solving, the problem is still mine only. You guys didn't do anything. You're just listening. Only when you try it on your own and get it, the problem becomes yours. Try. I'll give you a minute. 240. That is too high. Yeah? Let's see how to do. You start like this. Let the ball fall on the nth step. So now tell me, if it is falling on the nth step, each step ka width is 1 meter, right? So meaning this will be n and this will be n. Agreed? Suppose if it falls on the 20th step, means it will be 20 meters away from the boundary and 20 meters above the boundary. So the height will be 20 and the horizontal will be 20. So if you're falling on the nth step, you will be falling n meters away from the boundary and n meters above the boundary. So if you take this point as origin, then this point coordinates will be x comma y will be 120 plus n. Make a separate diagram. Huh? Don't draw it on the same one. 120 plus n comma n. So you got the coordinates of the ball when it lands on the steps in terms of n. Now you tell me, you know x and y, you know u and theta. Is there any formula where it has x, y, u, theta? Equation of trajectory. First, you know y ka value, x ka value, u ka value, theta ka value. Substitute there, you'll get n. So y will be n, x will be 120 plus n. This is tan 45. G is 10. 120 plus n ka whole square. 2 60 square cos square 45. I will show it on the next page. Right there. So if you see right in this problem, the main crux is figuring it out for the nth step, the height is n and the horizontal distance is n extra. Once you got that, the problem is over. In case if you're wondering now, what is this problem exactly? You have done this. Remember this problem? Throwing a stone into a window. It was exactly similar equation. You know u, you know theta, you have 10 and 5 coordinates and you have to find u. This question and what we're doing right now are very similar. Here, you know, u and theta, you're asking for the coordinates. Put this down, I'll turn the page. I'll show the working on the next page. See. So that will be n 120 plus n. Tan 45 is 1 minus g is 10. X square is 120 plus n whole square. 2. This is 60 square. That is 3600. Cos 45 is 1 by 2. 1 by root 2 ka square. So 10. This goes off. Here this n goes off. So you get minus 120 is minus 120 plus n whole square by 360. Cross multiply. So this will be 120 plus n is root over 12, 36, 100. I just took out common there. 36 is 6, 100 is 10. That's root 12. Root 12 is 60 into 2 root 3. So we get 120 plus n is 120 root 3. So n will be 120. Take out common, root 3 minus 1. I shifted 120, that's it, and took 120 common. So root 3 is 1.732 minus 1. This is approximately, you can calculate that. 120 into 0.73. You get this is approximately 87.6. I did in the previous class, so I know. So n is 87. The meaning is 87.6. The meaning is it is falling on the 87th step plus a little more. So you take always the lowest integer. So the ball is falling on the 87th step. Have a look at this. So if you see the main theme, right, the entire problem started with that one. If it falls on the nth step, height is n and the x coordinate is 120 plus n. After that, it is simply a substitution. Now understand, the problem is not tough. Problem is little lengthy. There's a difference between a tough problem and a lengthy one. Lengthy one will require more solving, which will come with practice. Tough one is what? You don't even understand how to start the problem. This is not tough. This is something which you could thought of. Any doubt on this particular thing, please ask me. Okay, next one. Turning the page. You have a particle projected with u and theta. Gravity is there as usual. Now we have something extra. We have a wind also. So the wind is blowing, because of which it is creating some acceleration. A. Correct? So the question is, find time of flight and range. So normally, you can see this when you are playing shuttle. If the wind is blowing in your direction, it's going to go far. If it is going opposite direction, you'll slow down a little. So get this thing? Hope the question is clear. Any doubts, ask me.
So can you do the previous slide for once?
Why are you copying so slow, Ray? Either I'm writing too fast or you're writing slow. Okay, carry on, carry on.
So done.
So the question was clear. Particles project with u and theta, gravity g, and acceleration due to the wind. In case you're thinking like, okay, how to do this thing, sir? What is the basis of this thing? You should go back to the basic derivation. You remember this? Remember, saw this thing? We used to write this is 0. We used to say always ax is 0, ax is 0. Now ax won't be 0. That is the only difference. Get this thing? I'll give you a minute.
Sir,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if the answer is correct, but I'm getting minus u cos theta plus minus the whole root u square cos square theta.
This is what? This is what?
What?
What are you telling me? Which answer is that? Range or time of flight?
Time of flight.
Let's see. I'll show you. Now, see, I'll tell you one thing. When this thing goes here and falls somewhere here, this will be some r comma 0, right? This is 0 comma 0. Now, if I just show you the formula here, S5 is uy t plus half ay t square. The displacement is 0. This is uy t plus half ay is minus g t square. So from here you get time will be 2 uy by g. This is the formula for time of flight. You remember this thing? We derived this here. Look at here. Time of flight ka formula. Hmax ka formula. Tell me one thing. When you see this formula, is there anything that is relating the horizontal acceleration? So if this is the time of flight, so what is the time of flight here? 2 uy, which is u sine theta by g. Similarly, what is h max? H max is u vertical square by 2g. What is u vertical square? U square sine square theta by 2g. Nothing changes in the vertical direction. So the important thing is when the wind is blowing horizontally, it will not affect anything in the vertical direction. Tell me one thing, when the wind is blowing, did it affect the vertical velocity? No. Did it affect vertical acceleration? No. Getting it? So nothing will change in the vertical direction. Going up and down will not get affected because of the wind. What will get affected? The horizontal. So the horizontal acceleration will not affect the vertical direction. So the time of flight and the range, h max will not change. Horizontal acceleration will not affect the vertical direction. Because think about it, in the three equations, I'll just tell you, see, the three equations, if you look at, Vy is Uy plus Ay t. Sy is Uyt plus Ai half Ay t square. Vy square minus Uy square is 2Ay Sy. Do you see anywhere, Ax anywhere? Nothing. In the vertical direction, horizontal, nothing comes in the horizontal direction. Means you do whatever you want with the wind. It doesn't matter. Vertically, nothing will change. The wind is blowing very fast or very slow. The time of flight and the H max will remain same. Put it down. I'll show you the range in the next page. Any particular doubt on this thing? You're not convinced about this? Please ask me.
So like every
Well, the
time
range will increase.
That we will see. That is the next part we'll see. Simran.
like every time we have to use y coordinate only, like sy is
See,
equal to
if I ask you like this, you go up because of whose velocity, vertical or horizontal?
vertical.
Then you have to use vertical only, na? You're getting my point? The
So,
wind will push you. Yeah, coming in. Tell.
So like when do we have to use the sx wala formula?
When you see Sx meaning it is in which direction?
The horizontal direction.
So for the horizontal we'll use.
Okay.
Let's see. What is the next part? You want horizontal? See, they're using now. Ux t plus half ax t square, na? Isn't it? Now what is Sx? Range. What is Ux? U cos theta. What is this thing? Time of flight. Now this will not be 0. That is the difference. Till now the second term used to be 0 na, every time. Now it won't be 0. What is time of flight? Just now we derived. So u cos theta 2u sine theta by g plus half a time of flight is 2u sine theta by g whole square. So if you see, this thing is u square sine 2 theta by g. I will turn the previous page, just wait. Now if you see numerator, you'll get a 4 and 2 is in the denominator, so 2a, I'm just writing it directly. G square u square sine square theta. So you know what is this? This is the normal range. This was the formula for range normally.
Yes.
Without wind. If there is no wind, this is the answer. This is the extra range because of the wind. Because the wind is blowing, you get the extra range due to wind. So yeah, Soren, what you're saying, it will be more because the wind is supporting you. Are you getting ready to use that Sx?
Yes.
So whenever you want to find anything in the horizontal, use Sx. Anything you want to do in the vertical, use Sy and stuff. Put this done. Hope this page is clear. Any doubts on what we did, please ask me. So this is something new now. Till now, we always used to neglect that horizontal acceleration. It's not a big deal. This is how you do, even if there's a horizontal acceleration. The only thing that will change is that ax, which we used to write as 0. Now we don't write as 0.
So I still did not get why the horizontal
By the horizontal acceleration
acceleration won't be,
won't be.
yeah,
Come
0.
again, I didn't.
I still did not understand how this acceleration in x-axis will be 0, won't be 0.
अरे it is given ना रे question में तो दिया था there is an acceleration due to the wind in the horizontal direction.
So but in the x direction it is 0, no?
अरे this is only x ना रे, what are you talking? What is this direction?
X.
Then is it 0?
So but every time we are taking acceleration in the x-axis 0, no?
Now don't take na because it is not given. So that means just because you remember ax is 0, even if I give you won't take. You're getting my point, Rahil?
Yes, sir.
Just because it is not there till now doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Na? Suppose if you say there is no wind, then you take a is 0. Na? Now see, if you put a 0, you'll get the same answer, right? But if there is a wind, so this is the situation. Clear?
So,
Yeah.
so if the acceleration is given in the opposite direction, so we'll have to minus this.
Negative. Then a will be negative. If the wind is blowing opposite, so it will be minus. It's like, when I was in school, I don't remember when, 7th or 8th standard, I guess. I asked my friend, how to come to your house. He said, in front of our house, there are 3 dogs. That is a landmark. Huh? It's like, what, meaning wherever there are 3 dogs, that is his house. Let's see next one. Hope this was clear. Look at the calculations. So till now a was 0 because it was said it was 0. It is not 0 that was said in the question. So you don't take it as 0. As simple as that. Everyone copied? Rahil, turn the page.
So 1 second.
Okay. Since Rahil is writing, we still have some time. So if you see Saurin ka background, that's a beautiful Himalayas we have. Sahil, the clouds are floating. Remaining all backgrounds are boring. Where is Josh? He's hiding now. He is there. Over, Rahil?
Yeah.
Now, see, if I try to draw the trajectories for these guys, you guys must have played shuttle, right? Below your complex. You never felt this thing and you're playing it when there's a wind and when there is no wind. You do the different things. For example, see, if I project with u and theta, you go and fall here. So this is 0, meaning there is no wind. If there is no wind, you'll fall like this normally. This is your H max. Now, suppose if there is some wind, you'll go and fall like this. See, A is greater than 0, so wind supports. You will go more distance, but your height will be same. Can you see the point? If the wind is supporting you, you are going to still touch the red line on the top. You can't exceed that height because the vertical velocity is still the same. But you will go far or more distance. The range will increase. Suppose the wind is blowing backward. So A is negative. In this case, wind is opposing. So in this case, what will happen? The range will become less. You will fall closer than the normal. Suppose the wind is blowing very hard, You can even go like this. This is A less than 0, very high wind. The wind is blowing really bad. It can even go back behind the point of projection. But if you observe one thing, no matter how much the wind blows, let there be no wind, let there be a high wind, let there be opposing wind, anything, all particles have same H max and same time of flight. Independent of the wind speed. So what will change because of the wind? Simple thing, right? Wind is blowing horizontally. So horizontally everything will change. Height is not horizontal, height is vertical. Hope this was clear. Have a look at this. Ask me if the diagram is confusing. So there are 4 particles, blue, green, sky blue, and that orange one. So 4 different situations. The blue one, there's no wind. The green one, the wind is supporting, so it will go far. The sky blue one, the wind is opposing, so it will come closer. The orange one, the wind is opposing, very high wind speed in the opposite direction, so it will even go backward. So this is how the particles will go. And the thing is, no matter whatever is the wind speed, you will always touch that H max. All will have same maximum height. Rahil, is this fine? Is this convincing?
Yes, sir.
Right. Anyone has a doubt on this thing, please ask me. Done? All clear? Now, using this concept, projectile on an incline. Now listen carefully here, important. This is there in even HCK derivation also. It's not tough, but again, a small variation. Like I said, today's class, right, in the till now in all the classes of projectile, today's class is little, complex because we are combining everything that you learned. So what happens in this thing? If you have an incline, alpha is the angle of inclination, meaning that is the inclined angle. And you're projecting with u and theta. So I want to find how much time will it take to hit the incline and how far will it hit. So how to solve this problem? we choose X and Y axis along the incline and perpendicular to the incline. So in these kind of problems, the theme is we will choose this is X axis, this is Y axis. Getting it? See, you can choose X and Y axis any way you want. So you can choose X and Y like this. You can choose X and Y like this. Only condition is they should be perpendicular. Got it? You can choose X and Y axis in any direction at any angle. There is no problem there. Only condition is they should be perpendicular. Then what we do in the problem now, if you just turn this a little, if you just turn the page, it will looks like this now. Particle is projected with u and theta. Does this look like that? By choosing X and Y axis along the incline and turn the incline a little, you'll observe the diagram looks like this one. So how to solve this thing? I'll show you on the next page. So we are trying to convert this into a normal, flat projectile, but this will create some issues. We have to take some corrections there. Clear? So how to handle this thing? Turn the page, Nami. No, next page. See. Now how to do this thing? Rahil copied? No? Copied, na?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So listen carefully. This is what we do here. So you have chosen this as y-axis. Fine. You have chosen this as x-axis. This is u. This is theta and this is alpha. This is okay. Now if you divide the components, this will be ux, which is u cos theta. This will be uy, which is u sin theta. Standard stuff. This to we know. U cos theta, u sin theta, vertical and horizontal. Now the catch is the acceleration. G so is vertical. Now see, suppose if you take G here, this angle will be 90 minus alpha. This will be alpha. Is that fine angles? That means this angle is alpha. Now if you take components, this will be G cos alpha. Again, resolution of vectors. This will be g sine alpha. This is your ax. This is your ay. Why is that ax and ay? See na, this is parallel to x-axis na. That is your ax. This is parallel to y-axis na. That's why it is ay. So only difference in the incline problems is you have to divide even the acceleration into components. Did you get how I divided g into components? This you can remember this thing, but this will come in 3-4 chapters later on also. But understand how I divided this. Ask me if anyone confused how I divided g into components.
So can you explain again?
So did you get the angles first place? Did you get this alpha? Alright.
Yes.
So if you got this alpha na, so ye adjacent side hai na, this is adjacent side, this is the opposite side. Then in vectors you studied the resolution of vectors. What is the adjacent side? Cos alpha. What is the opposite side? Sine. Yes? No?
Yes.
Got it? See, it is like this na, g. This is alpha. It's like this na, 90. So this is the adjacent side. This is the opposite side. So adjacent side will be g cos theta. Opposite side will be g sin theta. Here theta is alpha there. Hope everyone is clear with the components part. So once you got it here, job's done actually. What is time of flight ka formula? 2u vertical by a vertical. Na? What is 2u vertical? 2u sin theta. What is a vertical? G cos alpha. Where see basically g ka place mein you have g cos alpha. Wind ka place mein you have g sin alpha. So the g sin alpha is behaving like the wind in the opposite direction. So this is your time of flight. Have a look at this carefully. Understand. We will do some problems on this. When you do with numbers, it is more easy in this. But yeah, I'll show you the range part also. Wait. So what is the theme in inclined problems? Every time you used to divide u cos theta, u sin theta. Now you divide even gravity into g cos alpha, g sin alpha. That is the main idea. So this problem is similar to the Windigo problem. Both are connected. Only difference g ka place mein g cos alpha and wind ka place mein g sin alpha. So if you just turn this thing, it looks like this. This is y, this is x, this is ux, this is uy, this is ax, g sin alpha, this is ay, g cos alpha. Hope you're able to understand now. Very only difference is that. Clear? So what will you do about the range? Range is what? Sx, na? Sx is uxt. Now, if you see, right, even on an incline ka problem, it doesn't matter, the same formula. This will be range, u cos theta. This will be time of flight plus half. What is ax? Minus g sine alpha, because it is in the opposite direction. Time of flight square. We will not simplify this. We will just leave it here, because when you get numbers, it is easy to solve. Now see, again, I don't want you to by heart these formulas for incline. I want you to understand the process. Because if you try to by heart these formulas and go in the exam, these are too big. It is easier with numbers to solve. We'll see few problems. So I want you to understand the process, not the formula. Get the time of flight, put it in here. Why did I take minus? Because it is opposite to xc. See, this is the negative x-axis. Because I took this as positive x, no? It is opposite to the ux. Have a look at this. Ask me if you're confused. Let's see some problems on this. So this is how you find the range. S is ut plus half at square. Put sx, ux, and ax and get it. Sean, all clear? Rajat, सब ठीक है? So far, all problems are clear. Priya, clear? Kamakshi,
Yes, sir.
Harsh, incline का idea you're getting, na? So, Janay, all fine? Janay? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Let's see a problem. Rahul, done copying?
So done.
We have an incline. This is 30 degree. We are projecting with 20 meters per second. This is also 30 degree. Find a time of flight and range. So when you say range, you're talking about this guy. You can ask me, sir, is there any formula for H max? You can take H max, but that will be this height, na? It doesn't make sense in this context. So that's why we don't consider H max normally. Because when you say H max, it is always measured from the ground level. So here it doesn't make much sense. Get this thing? Angle of inclination 30, angle of projection 30 with the incline, speed 20 meters per second. Find time of flight and range. What is the procedure? Find ux, uy, ax, ay. That's the first step you need to do. Divide them into components. Try, I'll give you a minute. So Sunday, right, for the new students, you'll be getting the booklets, and we'll be giving you the solutions also for everyone. for whatever chapters we are doing and did. We'll be getting the solutions of printed one, and the key corrections also for that we have to give. And we're going to show your parents how to see your results in the app. That is the main agenda this week. How to do see? This is your y, this is your x. You can draw a separate diagram. Always draw a separate diagram. So this is uy, which is u sine theta, that is 20 sine 30, that is 10. This is ux, which is 20 cos 30, which is 5 root 3, because cos 30 is root 3 by 2. Then this is g.
सर वो 10√3 होना चाहिए ना?
हाँ, 10 है. Yeah, 10 root 3. So this angle was also 30. So this is g sine 30, which is 5. This is ax. This is g cos 30, which is 5 root 3. This is ay. If someone is confused how I got that 30, I'll just show you here. See, listen carefully. This is how you do. Put this g. So ye 30 hai. So this is 60. This is 30. Parallel lines, no? Hope you're getting how I got the 30 angle. This is 30, this is 60, then this is 30. Total 90 hai na, perpendicular. If this is 30, so this is 30. Then g cos 30, g sin 30. Once you got till here, your job's done actually. What is time of flight? 2 u vertical by a vertical. What is u vertical? 10. What is a vertical? 5 root 3. So this is 5 za, 2 za, 4 by root 3. That is your time of flight. Hope everyone got the same. Then what is range? Range is ux, time of flight, plus half ax, time of flight square. Ux is 10 root 3. Time of flight is 4 by root 3. Half, what is ax? Ax is minus 5 because it is opposite. And time of flight is 4 by root 3 ka square. Root 3 cancels out. I'll write it here. That is 40 minus 5 by 2 into 16 by 3. 2 za, 8 za. So that is 40 minus 40 by 3. 80 by 3 meters. That's your range. So have a look at this. First thing, you divide the velocity into components, acceleration into components. Then time of flight is 2u by a, vertical direction square. Once you got time of flight, then s is uxt plus half axt f square. Just dump it there. Ax is negative because if you look at ax, it is going opposite to the x direction. That's why it is negative, opposing it. Have a look at this. Ask me if there's any particular thing you're confused with. We'll do one more numerical on the similar one. Take it out. Any particular step you didn't get it, ask me. Clear? Next one. Turn in the page. All copied, na? Sorry, clear? Next one. See. You have an incline. This is 37 degree. You're projecting with 20 root 2 meters per second. This angle is 45 degrees. So angle of inclination is 37, theta is 45. Find time of flight, range. Same question, I just changed the numbers. So you're projecting with 45 degrees with the incline and 37 degrees is the angle of inclination. Hope everyone knows what is sine 37, cos 37. You have to remember those values. Exam you won't, no one will come and tell you. Find the time of flight and the range. Finish it off. Sean, got the answer? One sec, guys.
The time of flight is 4 root 2.
4 root 2. I think you'll get a good number. Right?
4 seconds.
4, yeah. 5,
Five.
I guess. Yeah, 5. Show you? See. This is ux, which is 20 root 2 cos 45. Cos 45 is 1 by root 2, so 20. This is uy, which is 20 root 2 sine 45. Guys, one sec. This Amazon guy is calling non-stop. Okay. So this will be again 20. Sine 45 is again 1 by root 2. Then what about the acceleration? This is g. This will be 37. So this will be g cos 37. Cos 37 is how much? 4 by 5. So this will be 8. This will be g sine 37. Sine 37 is 3 by 5. This is 6. You need to mug up these things. So this was ax and this was ay. Once you got till here, then it's done. What is time of flight? 2u vertical by a vertical, which is 2, uy is 20, ay is 8. So that would be 5. What is range? Ux time of flight plus half ax time of flight square. This would be 20, time of flight is 5 plus half, this is minus because we're going opposite, 5 square. That will be 100 minus 3 into 25, 75, 25 meters. Hope everyone got the same. Have a look at that. Any particular step you didn't get, please ask me. Get it cleared? If you see, the main theme in these problems is dividing the velocity into along the incline, perpendicular to incline, acceleration along the incline, perpendicular to incline, time of flight, range, finish it off. Tanya, clear with this? Asta, clear?
Yes, sir.
Riddhi? Clear? Okay. Rahil, got this thing? Okay. Sahil? Fine? Let's see one more. Hope most of you got the same answers. Turning the page. Let's see similar question. You have an incline. (37 degrees). You projected with a speed 5 meters per second. Parallel to the incline, meaning AB 37. Are you throwing from top? Find time of flight and range. Idea is same. The only difference, instead of throwing from bottom, you're throwing from top now.
That means your AX will be positive, right?
Yes, because the AX will support the speed now. That is the only difference in the problem. Everything else will remain same. Now the difference will be, this will be x-axis, this will be a y-axis. If you take the components, this will be ux, which is 5 cos 37. Cos 37 is 4 by 5, so this is 4. This is uy, which is 5 sin 37, that is 3. This is g, so this will be g sin 37, which is 6. This is ax. Now see, ax is in the direction of x-axis. This is g cos 37, which is 8. This is ay. Done. What is time of flight? To u vertical by a vertical. U vertical is 3, a vertical is 8. That is 3 by 4. What is range? Ux time of flight plus half ax time of flight square. So ux will be 4, time of flight is 3 by 4. Now this will be plus because you're supporting now. 3 by 4 whole square. 4 will cancel, that is 3 plus 3 into 9 by 16. 48 plus 27, 75 by 16 meters. Yeah. Have a look at the calculations. Ask me if you're confused anywhere. All clear with this? Final clear now? Hope you're getting the idea now what to do, how to take the comparison, finish it off. Turn the page. Next thing. Maximum range on the incline. So if you remember, we had the maximum range on your projectile. So here we don't need the derivation or something. I'll give you the results. You can remember this. So if you're throwing up, so if the particle is going up, the maximum range is given by u square by g 1 plus sine alpha. This occurs so this happens when theta is pi by 4 minus alpha by 2. But at this angle you get the maximum range. Example, let's say this is 30. then theta will be 45 minus 30 by 2, na 15, 30 degrees. So if you project this with 30 degrees, you will go the maximum distance. Getting the meaning of it? So pi by 4, 45 minus alpha by 2, where alpha is the angle of inclination. So the questions will be like this. With what angle should I project for maximum range? Pi by 4 minus alpha by 2. What is the maximum range? U square by g 1 plus sine alpha. Hope you got the question. While coming down, the formula changes. Because if you see now that AX will oppose one time and support in the other case. While coming down, if you project with u and theta, so max range will be u square by g 1 minus sine alpha. Now you might get it, generally the confusion is, should I take plus or minus? Think logically. When you're throwing from top, you should have more range. No? The denominator should be small, so 1 minus. While throwing up, range should be less, so denominator should be more, 1 plus. And this occurs. So these are direct questions. Right? Pi by 4 plus alpha by 2. If you throw with this angle, you're going to fall. So the maximum range is u square by g 1 minus sine alpha. You have to remember these results. Derivations are not important. They'll ask a straightforward question. A particle is projected from the bottom of an incline, find the maximum range. Just substitute the value and finish it. You won't have anything more or any more logics on this thing to solve. Let's see one question on this. Next thing, show you. Put it up, put it up. Question. For a given speed, if you're throwing with the same speed, max range while going down on an incline is 3 times max range while going down. Find alpha, that is the angle of inclination. Meaning, what he's saying, when you throw it down and when you throw it up. So if this is x here, he's saying this is 3x. This will happen only for a particular angle alpha. What is that alpha? Hope the question is clear. With the same speed when you throw it down, with the same speed when you throw it up, the down wala range is 3 times more than the up one. So basically, how to use? We think this formula is there. This is 3 times this, isn't it? The maximum range while throwing down is this. This is 3 times this. Get it? How much are you getting? Tell me. So what is the range here? U square by G 1 minus sine alpha. This is while coming down. Is 3 times U square by G 1 plus sine alpha. You should just know the result. U square, G will cancel, cross multiply. 1 plus sine alpha is 3 minus 3 sine alpha. 4 sine alpha is 2. Sine alpha is half. Alpha is 30 degrees. So for an incline of 30 degrees, this situation can happen. Have a look at this. Someone confused, please ask me. Rahil, whenever you need to ask me to turn a turn, don't hesitate just because I said something. It is my job. I'll keep saying, you keep asking, you get your doubts clear.
Yes, sir.
Getting your doubts cleared is the most important thing. Let teacher go to hell, doesn't matter. Because see, I give you the question, I keep staring at you guys and I get bored. So I keep saying something. Don't worry about that. Get the questions cleared. That is the most important thing. End of the day, I want you all to perform good. Most people have a wrong thing, what they think. Teacher meaning, he